Welcome to Fandom of the Opera, Paradox Opera's new podcast where we talk about opera, fandom, and everything in between. We're your hosts, Alissa.
And Gwen.
And something's about to happen.
It sure is.
As always. So, we're here today on this day of all days.
It sure is one of the days of all time.
In the throes of production for Next to Normal. The cast isn't here yet, but I'm in the throes of production.
And me too.
As the producer.
I am also here.
Yes, you are here. Less in the throes than me, but
that's true.
In it too. And
I'm not in the throes, I'm more in the catches.
Sure.
Finger guns.
We were really hoping to be able to start to have some guests from the show on, but I think that that's probably going to end up being post-show releases, especially because most of our folks are not in the near vicinity. So do get excited for that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, get fucking hype.
Get super hyped. Come to the show. Be like, wow, this is the best show I've ever seen. And then get excited for all the behind-the-scenes things you'll get to see after you've seen the show. And then we can spoil the show, which we don't want to do now. So we're going to try to not do that, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. We can do that.
We can do that?
Yes.
Great. Good talk. So, a lot has happened in opera news in the last week and a half, 2 weeks since we recorded, I feel like.
Was there something else?
Something else?
Besides the timpani cabaret?
Well, there's the perpetual ongoing saga of what's happening with Washington National Opera as they've left
Jesus.
the formerly known Kennedy Center, RIP in peace. I think there's new Met drama that I haven't really been paying attention to.
There's always Met drama.
Yeah. I tend to not really pay a lot of attention to them, to be honest with you.
That's entirely fair because fuck Peter Gelb.
Correct. That is how I feel. That is how I feel. Oh, right. Wasn't the news that they pulled a ridiculous amount of money out of their endowment? Yeah. And are in big trouble because you're not supposed to do that. You don't touch the endowment. But he really needed those fresh poppies.
I love that was a thing that happened a decade ago.
Yeah, and I'm still mad about it.
Never let that motherfucker live it down.
Correct. Nor should he. I'll be honest, the fact that did not lose him that job is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah. Context for people who are not aware of Poppygate.
The Met did a production of Prince Igor in, I don't know, maybe it was 2016, like a decade ago. And they decided, for reasons unknown, that they needed to have, for one of the scenes, an entire field of fresh poppies for every single performance. Real fucking flowers. The entire stage of the Met. The whole fucking thing. I don't know.
Which is large, by the way.
Yeah, like if you've never seen the stage of the Met, pull up a photo. You could also Google this production because I guarantee you there's photos of this scene. The entire floor of the stage is a field of poppies. They are real flowers, and it cost them $500,000 to get these fucking flowers. For what? For what? Who cares, Peter?
Peter's illicit opium habit? That's...
I know there are...
slander, maybe. I don't know.
I know there's always
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
I know there's always other things going on behind the scenes that we don't necessarily know, but knowing how Darren Keith Woods exited Fort Worth Opera after the JFK debacle, I am shocked that Poppygate did not also lose Peter Gelb his job.
What JFK debacle?
Oh, do you not know about JFK the Opera by David T. Little that almost bankrupted Fort Worth Opera? Because it's awful.
No.
And they spent an unreasonable amount of money on this production, and the opera is god awful. And they put all this money into it because they were like, we're creating the next great American opera. And so they assumed that a bunch of companies would pick it up and rent their set and they would make money back. No one did it. No one wanted it because it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, they were like, we had Nixon in China, so now we need something JFK.
It's just JFK.
Yeah.
And because it's Fort Worth, the whole thing is this like weird fucking fever dream of like the night before his assassination.
Great.
And because it's got to be in Fort Worth, because we're in Fort Worth. It's crazy. I had friends in the production. I saw the production. It's a god awful opera. It has very few redeeming qualities. They cast some phenomenal singers in it, and there were some really good singers singing some really bad music.
Great.
And I will say, I think David T. Little has written some incredible pieces of music and theater, but why they hired a man who had never written a grand opera to do this and spend all this money on is baffling to me. Like, I just don't feel like that's an intelligent decision. I would say that about anyone. Like, if you had no track record of creating this thing ever successfully, you're really going to hemorrhage your entire company's money on an unknown and just be like, yeah, this is going to go well.
I had a really fantastic idea just now, and it's for Waterworld, the opera. I think it's fantastic. It certainly would not bankrupt the Metropolitan Opera. So, hey, Peter, if you're listening and you're not still mad about that joke about you having a secret opium habit, which was, again, for legal reasons, a joke, come hire me to make this Waterworld opera. Famously a movie that made its budget back and a lot more after that. So there's no reason that the opera wouldn't do the same.
Sure.
Give me a call.
You know where to find us. Fandom of the Opera Podcast at gmail.com. So anyways, opera news. I don't know that there's a whole lot that we can or want to dig into this, but like we did just get news this morning that Raynell Krause passed away, who is this generation's Queen of the Night and is devastating.
Yeah.
Because she is our peer.
Yeah, it is never a good thing or never a good time to lose a colleague.
Yeah.
And I didn't know her. Like, I was aware of her work through her viral videos of doing bullshit.
Amazing bullshit.
With Queen of the Night, specifically. What was it, on Silks?
She went viral twice. She went viral about a decade ago for being the person who sang Queen of the Night on Aerial Silks, and that really was the thing that kicked off her career. Because a lot of companies were like, yeah, we want that. And honestly, why wouldn't you? Because not only did she sing it in Aerial Silks, but she sang it damn well.
Right?
Because that's hard to do at all, let alone actually sing it well. And then just very recently went viral for adding embellishments to Queen of the Night, which, whoa, sacrilege.
Crazy fuck off embellishments.
Which I stole for our fundraiser because they're fun as hell. And did not do it as well as her. I hadn't practiced them. It was a spur of the moment thing. But I don't know that I'll ever do that as well as her.
Yeah. And honestly, maybe now nobody should. Like,
yeah.
Maybe those get retired now because that was her thing. And other people are probably not going to do it as well.
I mean, correct. Yeah. There's not a lot of people who can do that at all.
Yeah, it's very upsetting to find out that somebody your own age, more or less, has died. And regardless of the circumstances, but like especially when they have such an incredibly promising career ahead of them, there's nothing to say that can really encapsulate that adequately.
No. And
it wouldn't be any less of a tragedy if she were less famous.
Yeah, it's just, that's what's relevant to this space.
It's just awful and sad.
And especially in my circle, I did know her. Not super well, but I did know her. But I have friends who were like very, very, very close with her. So it's been a weird day.
Yeah.
And because this is an opera space and this is what's happening, I feel like we should say, like, obviously nothing can change the tragedy, but if you don't know her, go and listen to her videos and send some love to her family.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about sad things, we're doing a really sad show.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to talk about Hollywood's favorite twat, or
I think it's
just
pronounced
leave it at that?
twink.
No, twat. TWAT. Fuck you.
Yeah, so
We're great at segues.
unless you've been living under a rock for the past
It's
two,
like 2
weeks or
weeks.
so,
Yeah.
chances are that you have heard about Tiny Weeb Anime's remarks on a talk show. What, we got to do the Benedict Cumberbatch thing. Like, I like to come up with alternate names.
But we like Benny.
That's true.
That comes from a place of love.
Yeah, I do.
Timothée, I don't know how we feel about Timothée anymore. I feel like I was just sort of ambivalent towards him before, and now I'm like, he's a fucking twat.
Yeah, we do deeply love Butternut Cabbage Patch
Yeah.
in this house. And
his penguins.
and his pingwings. God bless that man for not being able to correctly pronounce the word penguin.
It's so good. It will never not
And
bring me joy.
for no one ever correcting him on that.
The whole time.
The whole time,
the whole
guys.
time.
Anyway, yeah, Timothée Chalamet had a thing. He was on
Some talk show or something. I don't
Some
actually
talk
know
show or
what
something.
It was.
and was having a conversation with Matthew McConaughey and was talking about how a lot of actors these days are going out of their way to say, like, hey, we need to save movie theaters. We need to keep movie theaters alive because this is the way that movies are meant to be experienced. And his take on that was essentially, I didn't get into this line of work to be trying to save an art form. This isn't opera or ballet. Like, I don't want to work in one of those art forms that have people saying, we need to save this, when nobody really gives a fuck. And
fuck him.
initially, I had not seen the whole clip.
Yeah.
Without the greater context,
Yeah.
my take on it was, well, it's true, but he shouldn't say it. That sort of, it is inconvenient that he is saying something uncomfortable but kind of true about our art form, that it is dying in large part because it is so hard to get people's attention and to get people to care, because as we've talked about in previous episodes, there is a widespread cultural misunderstanding
Yes.
of the art form as something unapproachable.
Yes.
And out of touch with the needs of modern society.
Certainly. But I would say it is a gross misrepresentation to say that nobody cares.
Yes.
Especially when he's lumping opera and ballet together, which he very explicitly did. And obviously now you've listened to it again and have a
Yes.
different
Having
understanding.
heard the full statement and the context for it, that it's coming from a place of talking about other actors wanting to save
movie theaters.
part of their own fucking art form.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm not in this for that.
It's shitty.
You can talk shit about opera all you want. I'm an opera singer and I talk shit about opera all the time. I have made a career out of taking the piss out of opera as a serious art form, but that's because I believe that leaving it in that place of,
It shouldn't be museum art.
yes, it shouldn't be on an untouchable pedestal.
Yeah.
And something that is to be looked at from a distance and appreciated, but not enjoyed.
Right. Or even understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thing is what I've been fighting against for much of my career. And I
too.
know you have too. And we have earned the right to talk shit about this art form and about the failures of the system.
And I think that if you're not in it, quite frankly, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because we understand the industry in a different way than someone from the outside. You can say, this is my perception of it, and that's fine, and that's perfectly valid. But to speak as though you're an authority on something that you really don't know fuck all about is gross. And to then...
I don't know, it's peak white man behavior.
Well, of course
so,
it is, yeah. But that it's sort of like in tandem, he's shitting on the classical arts, and he's also admitting that he doesn't take his own art form particularly seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing for me that is the real nail in the coffin about the statement, that you can denigrate other art forms and people can view that as tacky or classless or downright shitty. But the fact that it starts from a place of talking about film actors who want to preserve the film industry and the movie-going experience as it was intended by the arts creators. Like, don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of movies on my phone, and I watch a lot of movies on a TV in the living room, but also I would not trade that for a movie theater experience when I can get it. Because yes, tickets can be very expensive. Popcorn can cost you $20.
Just wear a big coat.
Yeah.
Deep pockets.
But the experience of being in a movie theater, seeing something on the big screen, that is a formative experience, artistically speaking, for a lot of people. I remember where and when I first saw Fellowship of the Ring. I remember the experience of watching that on a giant screen in Washington, D.C., and just having my mind utterly fucking blown, and my brain chemistry irrevocably changed by Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn, standing 50 feet tall and looking like the most attractive man that God has ever put on this earth. Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Sorry, I got distracted for a minute there.
By Viggo.
Yeah. I was thinking about how sad it made me when they made him shower in the third movie. He looks so good when he is just sweaty and greasy and dirty. And then he gets to Gondor, he takes a shower, and his hair is all like soft, and somebody put fucking conditioner in it. And it's like, this is my Beauty and the Beast moment. That sort of like, look at him, he has achieved his glory. And it's like, oh, he's less hot now.
So are you telling me I should stop bathing?
Are you a 50-foot tall Viggo Mortensen?
Maybe.
Well, now I'm uncomfortably aroused. So I might have to pause and go take care of some stuff.
Great. Well, I'll keep talking about how Timothée, which is what I will call him forever, is the worst. And his takes are bad.
Yeah. The thing is, once you get into that context, it's not even about opera and ballet.
Right.
It's about, why should we bother preserving the past? Why should we bother keeping art forms alive?
I don't even necessarily think the past element is as heavy in it as just the conversation of the quality and integrity of different art forms ought to continue to be practiced and perceived and preserved.
Yes.
Alliteration. And allowing art forms of any kind to deteriorate is a huge detriment to culture at large. And if you are a participant in an art form and someone who is very influential in your art form, to be so flippant about the preservation of what you literally do is pretty gross.
Yeah. And it goes even beyond art forms, although this is a conversation of what constitutes an art. And in the post-industrial age, there are a lot of professions that have become functionally an art because doing something the old way
Sure.
takes so much longer. It takes care and patience and practice and knowledge.
There's a lot of hand work that are skills that are certainly less common.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So getting, for example, a custom-made suit, that is a product that's being made for consumption. It's also an art form.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I would say,
fashion
all the time, fashion is art.
is an art form.
Yeah.
That's a bad example.
But even if you go into
Even something like
metalworking, like of course that's art.
yeah, or I think it was in the Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat documentary on Netflix that she visited a soy sauce producer who is still making it the slow,
Traditional way.
small scale, traditional way. And yes, there are, I sound like a fucking Full Metal Alchemist character, but there are techniques that have been passed down through the generations. And just because you can do something in a more modern, more industrialized way
Doesn't mean you should.
doesn't mean
It doesn't mean it's better.
it doesn't mean that you have to let go of the past entirely. Like, these are things that deserve to be preserved. And yes, because they are more labor intensive and time intensive, they are going to be priced at a premium. The point of the industrialization is to be able to produce more stuff faster, and so that way you can also sell it for cheaper.
Sure.
And we live in a capitalist hellscape, and some people can't afford to buy small batch artisanal soy sauce.
But that doesn't mean it should stop existing.
That does not mean it should stop existing.
Yeah.
It is an art form. And the fact that people don't go to the movies as much as they used to doesn't necessarily mean that
theaters should stop existing.
we should just get rid of movie theaters. Because that's an honestly irreplaceable experience.
And I mean, that really took a downturn, obviously, because of the pandemic. And then after that, because of inflation.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a very different conversation that should be being had about that rather than pretentious people not caring. And instead, like, great, are there ways that this experience can be preserved, but we can make it more accessible again?
Yeah.
And like start to have some similar conversations to what the classical arts are talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, oh my God, we're not so different. Except that we are. And that's something I said to you yesterday that is something I think is worth saying, that even though clearly that comment digs deep into a lot of different things, but I find it incredibly disingenuous for him to make that comment directly comparing to movie theaters, because film and live theater are not comparable simply based on physical accessibility. Even taking pricing out of the equation, let's say that everything is free to attend. Great. You can distribute a film to 100 different theaters around the country, and everyone in all these different places can go and experience the same film, and there's however many tickets. Great. You cannot do that with live theater. There is this one time with this group of people and this theater, there's a maximum number of seats in that theater, and that's it. That's all that can experience that.
And no matter how many performances of it they do, no two performances are ever going to be the same. And that's one of the
That's what's so special about
incredible beauties of live theater.
But it also isn't most of the time not on tour. So you have to be in the place and go to the thing. You know, really the only tours that happen for theater these days are Broadway tours.
Yep.
Opera's not touring. Ballet is not touring. There are some dance
Not
companies.
to the same degree.
Yeah, like there are some dance companies that tour, like Alvin Ailey tours, and the Chinese one that's everywhere.
Shenyun.
We see ads for everywhere, forever, no matter what.
Weirdo cult motherfuckers.
It's really quite something.
It looks gorgeous. Unfortunately, everything that I've read about the philosophy and the behind the scenes shit is like, oh,
it's not great.
This is terrifying.
Yeah. But otherwise, theater is very, very localized. But again, to say like, oh, nobody cares, they're just trying to care. Bitch, tell me where there has been a nutcracker that is not sold out every time. People give a fuck about the nutcracker.
Yeah.
People show up. Ballet is sold out. Other shows, perhaps less max capacity, but like everybody knows the nutcracker.
Yeah.
People are
They got a greatest hits.
Yeah, right. And obviously different scopes of things, but the Met is massive. I don't know the seating capacity off the top of my head, but it's like frighteningly huge.
Something terrifying.
And
more than any opera house should have.
It's too
TBH.
big. It's too big. But they are often very, very, very well sold, if not sold out, for the large majority of their performances. And yes, they are a cultural staple. They're like the opera house in America. But...
And are they coasting on that status
Yes.
as a cultural staple?
Yes, they are.
That's another question.
But they do, I believe it's 22 different productions every single season. They run from like August, September through May and have a performance almost every single day, if not two. They're frequently running 3 operas concurrently.
Yeah.
It's a machine.
It is fucking insane.
It's bananas what they do. And they sell. And they sell well. And yes, they have tickets that are ridiculously unaffordable, but they also have $25 tickets that are not nosebleed seats.
Yeah.
You can show up if the show is not sold out. You can show up a couple hours before the performance and say, I want a ticket, and they'll sell you a good seat for $35. So it just shows on so many fronts the lack of awareness of anything that's going on in culture around him to so confidently and flippantly say no one cares.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody, you don't care.
And tacking on to the thing about live theater having a very specific time and place, it occurred to me what's one of the most notable advances in recent years of making live theater accessible to people beyond that particular location, and it's the Met Live in HD broadcasts, which are broadcast where? Movie theaters.
And as well, the National Theatre does them from England. And there's a couple of other companies that do stuff too, but National Theatre and the Met are 2 of the big ones. And PBS Great Performances will pull sometimes from the West End, and those also sometimes are played in movie theaters.
And that is something that brings the art form to people who would not normally get to experience it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fucking great.
I mean, you better think it's great, because half of what we do here at Paradox Opera is live stream our performances when we're able, so that you can experience high quality opera in your bedroom if you want.
Hell yeah.
In your pajamas. You don't have to go anywhere.
That being said, there is genuinely no true substitute for live in-person theater. But the fact of the matter is that's just not possible for everyone. So if you can't have the ideal experience as it was intended to be seen in the theater on performance day, you'll still get to experience it. And so even in the age of streaming, there are all sorts of things that I will watch on a regular sized TV or watch on my phone. And the things that I really love, I'm like, I'm so mad I didn't get a chance to see this in theaters. Fucking Pacific Rim in theaters.
Was the best.
Mad Max Fury Road in theaters.
That was dope. Yeah, I got to see that in theaters too.
Those are experiences that are seared into my brain. And truly, nothing quite replicates that larger than life being in a room full of complete strangers and experiencing the absurd number of decibels of a giant robot using a boat like a katana in the middle of downtown Hong Kong. Genuinely life-changing experience. It would not have hit the same if I had seen it at home for the first time.
Or if the audio mixing was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's important too. I think movie theaters need to step up their audio mixing game. Because I've been to some bad showings, and I've been to some very good showings.
And for something that's not a million years old in current internet terms, 2014 is like a million years ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are 1 foot in the grave according to the internet.
Yeah.
So.
But we saw Iron Lung in the theater.
Yeah.
And my siblings in Christ,
dope as fuck.
I cannot wait for it to come out on streaming. I cannot wait to watch that movie again. But every single rewatch of that movie at home is going to be chasing the high of seeing it in a theater. It was such an really amazing experience. And it was something that was not going to be accessible in a lot of places, but people demanded it and people cared and
people showed up.
People showed the fuck up, and it got to what, like #1 movie in the country for a hot second?
Not a hot second, for several days.
Yeah. And I am much less familiar with his oeuvre than you are, but like, shout out to Markiplier for
100% independent film.
Yes.
To win the box office.
Yeah.
Is massive.
For doing something himself that he believed in so thoroughly. And it took him, what, like
3 years?
3 years to make. And you can see in his reaction videos that he is just absolutely stunned by the reception it received. And it would not be the same if it had just been a straight release to streaming. And with the current market model, not everything can afford to be released widely to movie theaters. And that's another problem. Like, that's a different problem.
Yeah, just the cost of it.
And the fact that so much mid-budget filmmaking has disappeared because you have massive blockbuster tentpole franchises sucking up all the air in the box office, that people go to the movies less. So when they do, it's usually for the big name movies and not the random rom-coms or things
I mean, I don't know how much will actually be learned from Iron Lung, though I think there's a lot that the industry should learn from Iron Lung, because it was so successful because people cared.
Yes.
Because people wanted it. And because people were invested in the project for a really long time alongside the creators of the project.
The creators made it with passion.
Right, but also it wasn't a secret that it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, Mark announced that this was happening all these years ago, and everyone was invested from the start. And he took people on the journey with him. And so I think there should be a lot learned from that, in that whatever's happening in Hollywood right now is some like big circle jerk secret. And I don't think that they care about the people who are consuming their media. And Iron Lung succeeded because they did.
Yeah.
And if we can find a way well, not we, I'm not in it. They, I have no desire to be in the film industry. But if they can find a way to incorporate those things, I think that would lead a lot to solving these problems.
Yeah.
Because it is an art form that does feel very separate from its audience.
Incredibly so.
And I think that's part of why I am someone who is in live theater and really has no interest in film, because for me, so much of the joy of what I do is that direct human connection and having people in the room to feed off of as you are actively creating the art together. Your audience is part of the creation process, whether they realize it or not. And then getting to have conversations with people afterwards. And it's just this like immediate, very tangible human connection. And film, you don't get to do that in that same way. And I think there's ways that they could integrate pieces of that, like what Mark did. Will they? Probably not. But...
And movie making is a massively collaborative art form with so many layers of stuff. So, like, you do have people in the room
right, but
with
it's not
you.
Your audience.
It's not an audience.
Yeah.
Which does make a difference. But also, a lot of times, these people are sworn to utter secrecy with the threat of horrifying lawsuits should they leak anything.
Yeah.
But then the moment anything gets leaked, people are rabid for it. People long for transparency in the arts. People want to see the process. And sometimes that's so they can get online and complain that, wow, this shot looks like ass pre-VFX.
Hey, and sometimes it's Sonic the Hedgehog looks fucking terrifying and we get it fixed. Because why does he have human teeth?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you don't always gotta hand it to angry internet mobs, but
the
shout
Sonic
out
fandom showed up
to that particular angry internet mob, because you know what?
That franchise whips.
That franchise is intensely watchable.
It would not have been if they did not fix Sonic's design.
Oh my god. I truly
it was so bad.
don't remember what the original looked like anymore, because I kept seeing the edit of the original with Steve Buscemi's added on it. And so, like, in my mind, that's what the OG movie Sonic has always looked like. He always looked like a blue abomination with human teeth and Steve Buscemi's eyes on his face. Yeah, it's just not good, man.
Not
that
good.
is...
This is better.
Yes.
This is bad. We'll post it in the notes.
Yeah. And, you know, I would point out that this Sonic also does have teeth.
Yes, but they're not human
they're
teeth.
much more cartoony.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
This
is an affront to God.
Hard left turn driving straight down the uncanny valley.
It's really bad.
I do not care for it.
It should be forgotten. But it won't be, because we're going to share it with you.
But it won't be, because if we forgot, we wouldn't have the comparison.
Right.
We wouldn't have the example of, hey, a lot of times fandom fucking sucks and is awful and an affront to God and man. But sometimes, very occasionally, a fandom does something useful and good.
And is an example of how connecting with your audience as a film creative team can save your product.
Correct. So many fucking movies that I can think of offhand that are just made with disdain for the source material.
The Monster Hunter movie. The Assassin's Creed movie.
Neither of those I bothered to see.
Correct.
Yeah. I was told by our friend Gemma that there is no Monster Hunter movie in Ba Sing Se.
That's correct.
And
there also is no Avatar movie.
In Ba Sing Se.
Correct. The twist was whitewashing the cast. Thanks, Shyamalan. Thanks.
God bless. And to bring it back to... Damn it, I need a 3-syllable word that starts with T.
Trebuchet?
Yes. All right. So to bring it back to Trebuchet Cabernet, it's not the fact, for me, that he took shots at opera and ballet. Because a lot of the harm to these art forms' reputation has come from people acting like they are above reproach and above criticism.
Yeah.
You can make fun of opera if you want. If you do it in a way that is that shitty and dismissive,
Yeah.
in a way that is aiming not only at those other art forms, but also your own art form.
Yeah.
And then to cap it off at the very end by making his half-assed impression of what he thinks an opera singer sounds like.
Again,
It's
it just
just
makes it so
really-
clear that he is the one who is uncultured.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it comes from a very uneducated perspective.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone who says all the time, part of the beauty of art is that it is not for everyone. Not everything is for you, and good. That's the point.
Nor should it be.
Right. Because if art is for everyone, then it's been whitewashed and it is nothing. It loses the sparkle of what makes art art. And if you just want to be comfortable all the time, don't get it all up in here. But
Watch Bluey. Or actually, no. Bluey has emotional intelligence and requires you to actually examine yourself and makes grown adults cry on occasion.
yeah. So all this to say, every piece of art is not for everyone.
Yes.
I do not expect everyone to like everything. And
No.
that's okay and good. What is not okay is when you equate not liking something with it being bad and assume that your opinion is the universal opinion. And that's what's happening here with Mr. Trebuchet. That he just is clearly uneducated on these art forms. It's very, very clear based on that clip that he just doesn't have a clue. And
doesn't care to get one.
Right. And so it's like, look, if you have engaged with opera and you're like, you know what, I think it's not for me, that's totally fine. But if you're then going to run around and be like, this sucks and it's trash and no one cares, that's not helpful and also not true. And that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Admittedly, there is still a part of me that thinks that we should be thanking him because
Now we're talking about it.
everyone has been talking about opera and ballet for the past 2 weeks. And like, here's what the opera and ballet community has to say about tiny weeb animes. I already used that one, damn it.
It's too late. You said it already.
Yeah. Here's what they have to say about his remarks. And, you know, we're getting airtime in a way that is honestly, you know, all press is
good press.
Good press.
I think as well, it adds to something that I've been kicking and screaming about for ages. And we're going to get our friend Chris on here to talk about this with us when he's in town for our show. But that a lot of the reason that I think people today don't like opera is because we put on a lot of bad opera.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately, a lot of people have had less than stellar experiences with the art form and therefore think that the entire art form is reflective of that one experience. And there's a lot of conversation to be had about how we can change that perception. But I want to change that. And I have had a lot of experiences where I have had the opportunity to change someone's opinion in that way, that they had some encounter with some like mediocre recording of opera. Maybe they didn't even go see something. They just heard something and they were like, oh, this is not for me. And then saw something that we did and they were like, wait, it can be this other thing. Like, this is something totally different than what my perception was before.
Yeah. And the fact that what we do is not as popular as multi-million-dollar movie franchises is okay.
And it doesn't make it any less valuable and worthwhile.
The fact of something needing to be saved doesn't make it in itself unworthy of saving. You have things that are moving out of the public consciousness or have moved out of the public consciousness, and sometimes people need to be prodded. If you are always staying in the realm of what's easy, what is immediately available, then you're going to get a fair amount of lowest common denominator stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that these art forms are things that people care enough about to try to save and to try to keep alive, that's great. That in and of itself is the indication that someone cares.
Mm-hmm.
And that just because it's not popular doesn't mean it deserves to die.
Mm-hmm.
I was so ready to give this boy the benefit of the doubt.
No.
And I was so ready to come on here and be like, you know, I think everybody's overreacting to this. And then I watched the clip again with the added context on either side. And I was like, nah, dude, this fucking sucks.
He's a massive fucking twat.
Heavy
who
sigh.
Disrespects his own art form.
And the thing is that I've watched him in a lot of movies and have a great amount of respect for him as an actor. And in the past, I have thought of him as someone who takes his craft really fucking seriously.
And I guess he doesn't.
And this tarnishes that image.
Yeah.
And I don't really care for that. I mean, you know, your fave is problematic. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has said stuff that they might later regret or that people would get mad about, but it just feels rough. You know, there's talk of the Stranger Things kids not really giving a shit about their craft and their art form.
Kids.
No, right, because, you know, the first season of Stranger Things came out, what, 30 years ago now?
Apparently.
And
was it before the pandemic?
I think so.
Great, 30 years ago,
Yeah. And so there are things of Winona Ryder making comments in interviews like, none of my castmates want to talk about the classics and the craft, and not to be like, you damn kids with your iPhones, but you damn kids with your iPhones.
Yeah, but they're also like really young.
Right. They're also Yes, they were really young 30 years ago when Stranger Things season 1 came out.
5 years old.
And the cast as a whole has developed a reputation of these kids like represent the stars of the next generation and how seriously they take the craft.
But do they?
I don't know. That is an argument that has been made.
Okay, sure.
My point is that Timothée seemed to be someone who could be held up in counter to that.
Sure.
Of like, this is a very young person who clearly takes the craft very seriously and who knows their shit and is a good performer. And another example being like Florence Pugh, who is
she's great.
A goddamn national treasure.
Yeah.
And I am surprised that Nicolas Cage has not stolen her yet, because she is such a national treasure. If you guys didn't get the joke the first time around.
Boo.
And so like there is a generation of up and coming young actors who seem really, really invested in the craft and really incredibly talented and like going places. And it's sort of like, okay, yes, like the future of acting
it's gonna be fine.
Is in good hands.
They're gonna be fine.
If this is the next generation. And to see something like this coming out of somebody that I had so much respect for is really disappointing.
I think one of my favorite comments that I saw surrounding this was something to the effect of, in a world of Timothees, be a Tom Holland.
Yeah. Dress in drag and dance to Rihanna.
And marry Zendaya.
And put your whole pussy into it.
Yeah.
God, I have a lot of bones to pick with the MCU Spider-Man franchise.
Sure.
I think that so much of it is absolute bullshit. And a lot of it represents what I feel is wrong with modern filmmaking. It's just all kind of pointing in one direction when I feel like we should be going in a very different direction. But like,
Well, good news. One Direction broke up.
damn it! I thought those crazy kids could stand the test of time. What was I talking about?
I'm so sorry.
Tom Holland. Tom Holland as a performer is great. I genuinely enjoy watching him in things. He is an incredibly talented guy. And not to be the most stereotypical millennial about it, but that video of him doing the lip sync to Rihanna's Umbrella is just pure art. It's pure art because it shows the power of committing to the bit.
Mm-hmm. And not taking yourself so seriously.
Yes. And there are a lot of people who would have done that with like a wink at the camera or like some mugging and like, isn't it so ridiculous that I'm doing this right now? But
instead of like really, it's like
right.
serious business.
He committed to the fucking bit. And so by not taking himself too seriously and his image as a man, he took the performance incredibly seriously and committed to every second of it. There was absolutely no sense of embarrassment, no sense of, I need to show people that I'm doing this for this moment, but it's not who I really am.
Right. He's just actually comfortable and confident in his skin.
Yeah. And incredibly fucking talented.
Yeah. Obviously, neither of us know these people.
Exactly.
But you can get a vibe from their interviews and whatnot that I would say they are very comparable in what they do and their skill level. And one of them often comes off very pretentious. And the other comes off like a real person. And again, like who doesn't take themselves overly seriously. And I think that makes a better artist. I said it.
Yeah. And I can't really speak on which one of them I find to be a better artist because, to be blunt, a lot of my perception of actors comes from the things that they've been in.
Sure. And your perception of that thing as a whole rather than just their performance.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, with Timothée having been in a bunch of kind of higher brow things, even stuff like Dune, which is a sci-fi fantasy epic, it's done by Denis Villeneuve, who is one of my favorite filmmakers of the current era. He makes really fucking great films that feel like art, even when it's about something like a drug war in space and giant sandworms.
Yeah.
And so, because Tom is so heavily associated with the MCU now,
sure,
and it has become fashionable to be like, ugh, the MCU, which, having just said, ugh, the MCU, it feels like one of them has the reputation of being more of a, like, legitimate artist, and the other is like, I'm just in this for a paycheck. But...
Okay, hear me out. Petition to replace Timothée and Dune with Tom Holland.
I would be fascinated to see Tom Holland's portrayal of Paul Atreides, especially because I know that he would have good chemistry with that girl who's playing Chani. What was her name again? Z something?
Yeah, her name is Tom Holland's wife.
No, she is not Tom Holland's wife.
He is Zendaya's husband.
Tom is Zendaya's husband. He took her last name.
Which is none.
So now he's just Tom.
He's just Tom, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for dead naming you, Tom.
He's just Tom.
Just Tom.
Just like just Ken. He's Tom Nuff.
See, I was going to make a Tom Nook joke.
Oh, yeah.
But then I have never actually played any Animal Crossing, so...
Do we need to fix this?
It was going to get... No.
Y'all get in the comments.
No.
Get in the comments.
We don't need to fix this right now. I have so many things I need to do.
That's true.
I cannot be getting sucked into another video game. Although, that being said, if I were to play an Animal Crossing game right now, what I would actually like to be playing is Pokopia.
Yeah, which is not Animal Crossing.
It's not, but it's a
You
cozy game about...
The thing is, even if you get into Animal Crossing now, you will never understand the trauma of Rossetti.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly, but y'all do. Y'all know. You'll never understand.
I'm sure that's going to get mentioned in the podcast goodies. We need some sort of context for people who...
No. The people who know, I just triggered their trauma, and the people who don't know are just going to glaze right past it.
Great. So anyway...
I'm gatekeeping that one.
Now that I'm done glazing, I don't know where we're going from this.
So, to wrap this up, come to our show.
Yes.
Come see live theater.
Come see live theater that we can't actually broadcast live because of rights from Musical Theater International.
Please don't hurt me, MTI. I'm scared of you. I work in opera. I have no fear from Sharma or Boozy, but I have fear from MTI.
Yeah.
I've been told that I shouldn't, but this is my first foray into musical theater, so, you know, I don't want to just, like, come in hard and be like, well, I'm going to disregard all of these things. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm very scared of that contract. I want to make sure that we are doing everything correct and by the letter to the best of our ability, because I respect the rights of artists that are alive that we respect, like Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie, who wrote this show. They're great. I don't know them as people, but I know that their work is great.
Their work is great.
I assume that they don't suck as people because I haven't heard any controversies. So they're probably chill.
Yeah.
They've written some cool stuff. So, like, I don't know. I think you got to be kind of chill to write the stuff that they've written.
And honestly, to write a Pulitzer Prize winning musical about grief and mental illness and the horrible toll that that can take on a family, you have to have some level of empathy for your fellow man. I think watching this show is an experience of, this is awful. Like, this is truly emotionally devastating. And yet, it never fully sinks into nihilism.
No.
It doesn't feel exploitative.
No. It feels very real. And there is always a glimmer of hope somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've said I don't want to spoil the show on here. I really hope that folks are able to come and see our production. If you're not able to come see our production, there are several great productions that you can watch online now. There's a version, I always forget the name of the company, from a San Francisco company that was made during the pandemic that they made like a film that I am really a fan of. There is also the London Pro Shot, which I'm less a fan of. I have some very strong feelings about that. We've considered perhaps doing a reaction series to it on Patreon because I'm a hater. But without spoiling the show, the finale number is We Need Some Light. And it really, after taking you on quite the intense emotional journey, ends with that.
Mm-hmm.
The last line of the show is, there will be light.
Yeah. There's a theme of people needing to connect with other people, and that...
And not succeeding.
Yes, and that people are at their worst when they do not adequately connect with others, and that's the worst thing in the show. That sense of when people stop seeing each other as people, as like full autonomous people,
individual people,
that leads to all sorts of awful, heartbreaking things.
There really is so much in this show of, without being really explicit about it, highlighting what it's like when people really become very self-focused and interact with everyone around them as their idea of who that person is rather than who they actually are.
Yes.
Even as a family unit living together 24/7, really not knowing who these people are.
And that's something that all of the characters do.
Yes.
Everybody in the show, not just like, we have an opinion on who the villain of the show is, and we think we're objectively correct. But it's also a show where everyone is deeply flawed.
Yeah. Well, I'm perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. My flaw is that everyone else doesn't realize that I'm perfect.
This is actually Alissa Roca's autobiography.
My character description is literally trying to be perfect, doing a bad job.
God bless. I think that even the character of the doctor, who is the character whose internal life we see the least of.
Right. Well, and also the doctor is two different doctors.
Yes. Even, or perhaps especially, the doctor has these moments of, hey, I'm going to firmly and confidently tell you what I think is the right thing to do here. And then you can judge for yourself whether or not that is true. And
take more pills.
Yeah.
ECT.
Yeah. And the human brain, speaking from experience, is a difficult thing to manage. And I think the saddest thing about the show is that everyone is doing the best that they can. They are holding on to something. And in many cases, that something is actually extremely harmful.
Yeah.
And not allowing other people to be who they need to be.
Yeah.
This is such a nuanced, incredibly emotional piece of art. And it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks the first time you had me watch it.
Yeah. I saw it when I was 17 on Broadway with the original Broadway cast. So that altered my brain chemistry.
Yeah, speaking of experiences with art, especially live theater, that change you forever.
Yeah. I said, oh, I'm that girl. And now, double my age later, I get to do it.
Yay!
Oh, no. That's a true sentence. I hate that.
To be fair, you are not going to be the least believable high school student on that stage.
I taught a high school class last week, and they thought I was a student there. So it's fine. But I was very excited to show it to her when I did, and I was like, are you ready for a bad time?
Yeah.
I would like to hurt you.
Yeah.
Please watch my favorite show.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says about me. That
Luckily
it's
for
my
her, I'm
favorite
into
show.
that.
I mean, I say all the time, even though I'm an opera singer, I think Next to Normal is my favorite piece of music theater hard stop. The end of discussion.
And that kind of brings us to the bridge between the two topics of the day. You know, we're talking about people, a specific person, not respecting the arts.
Sure.
And then here we are as an opera company that is doing a musical theater piece. And so some people might see that and say, well, see, like, you are also ashamed of your art form. You clearly don't believe in your art form because you're branching outside of it.
Nah, it's just my company and I can do what I want. I want to do this fucking show. Listen, I can be honest about it. Y'all, if you want to do whatever the fuck you want, you can bust your ass like me too and do whatever the fuck you want. I feel like I've earned it.
Hell yeah.
I have always wanted to get to play this role in this show and have never had an opportunity, and so here we are. I've made it for myself, and I think that it is an evergreen piece of theater that everybody should see at least once in their lives, and so I am very grateful to provide that opportunity for hopefully 600 people. Please come buy tickets to our show. Please, we want a full house. We got 3 shows. We want a full house. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great show.
And I think that is one of the important things about Paradox Opera's mission of making opera more accessible. Part of that can also be breaking down the massive wall that's been constructed between opera and musical theater, because opera is fundamentally
It's the same.
a musical form of theater.
They are all music theater.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's a different style of singing. It's a different style of music, but
And-
the art form at its core is the same, in my opinion.
Yes. And maintaining this giant wall with coils of barbed wire at the top
think it's
between
very
the two is
And harmful.
in many ways a harmful and genuinely unnecessary distinction.
Also, there is something to be said for how one defines a musical, an operetta, an opera outside of your perception of style of music, because Next to Normal is through sung.
Mm-hmm.
There are no dialogue scenes that are not underscored. So it is an opera.
And
It's a rock opera.
there are even some operas that have dialogue without music underneath.
Right.
The definitions are a lot more wibbly wobbly than a lot of people would like to admit.
Right. And so I would call Next to Normal a rock opera.
Oh, definitely.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's fully scored. There's very little dialogue. There is some, but again, it's all underscored.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And to tie into what we were saying before about people craving process, since we can't show you the show online, I do want to, as much as possible, bring people into this process. I am very not secretive about the process. And so I actually do want to pitch to y'all for our next episode. If you have questions or comments or things that you want to know about anything involving this show, questions you may have for our cast and creative team who we're hoping to get on very soon, questions for us about the process, anything at all that you want to know involving Next to Normal, email us at fandomoftheoperapodcast@gmail.com or comment on this episode on YouTube or Patreon and let us know what you want to know. What kinds of behind the curtains things are you interested in knowing? Because I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I just don't really know what is interesting to people.
Yeah. Help us help you. Let us know what you want to see, and we are happy to provide it to the extent we are legally allowed.
And we will post on Patreon and probably Instagram when we do have some confirmed guests from the show coming on. So we'll post a little post asking for specific questions for those people as well. But please do send us general questions about this so we can hopefully give you exciting stuff.
Hell yeah, dude.
Honestly, I don't think there's anything that I can't legally tell people. I mean, I can't legally show you the show.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
But like, I run the company. So I haven't made anyone sign any NDAs. Like, I'm pretty sure, say whatever I want. So, yeah. If you're curious about the nitty gritty behind the scenes tech stuff of theater, let us know what you want to know.
Yeah.
And we'll dig more into that in the next several episodes.
We would love to be interactive and transparent and accessible. Because that's kind of our whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, not our whole thing. We also perform really well.
Yeah.
Which helps.
Yeah. Listen, I promise you, you come see our shows, it's going to be the best damn show you have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, all the transparency in the world won't help if you don't have a good cast. But thankfully, we've got a fucking stellar cast.
They are rock
and
stars.
I am so fucking excited to start working with
all of these people.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked for y'all to meet them. I'm stoked for us to get in the room with them. It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be good.
It's going to be fucking great. And that's from the show, which you'll find out if you come and see it. I'm getting very self-promo-y, but hey, that's the point, isn't it?
This is our fucking podcast. We can do what the fuck we want.
Correct.
Come to our fucking show.
Please tell your
cowards.
friends. If you don't live in and around Durham, North Carolina, come visit.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people who are coming in from out of town, so
Yeah.
be part of the whole party of apparently
What's your
literally
excuse?
everyone coming to Durham to see this show. That's how you know this show is gonna kick so much ass, because there's so many people who are coming from out of town to see this show already. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Well, we are going to put our whole paradussy into it, and we're going to put on a hell of a performance.
3 of them.
A hell of a performances.
Yeah. Also, opening night is my birthday, so if you want to do something for my birthday, come see our show.
Yes.
Let my birthday party be a full sold-out house. Thank you. I just processed the math, that I am not at all joking, that this is now literally an entire lifetime from when I saw the show, and that like high key breaks my brain.
Yeah.
I am
Well,
twice the age that I was when I saw the show.
this is a good show to be doing if you have a broken brain.
And to learn how to deal with it.
Go to therapy.
Yes, go to therapy. This episode is sponsored by therapy.
Therapy.
Go to it. We say it every time because it's important. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But actually, this episode is sponsored by our incredible supporters on Patreon, including Cindy, Chuck, and Olive. And we also have a micro ad from our dear friend Chaos, who says, just manifesting.
Manifesting what? Who knows?
Just manifesting.
Just manifesting.
Thank you so much for your support, Chaos. We love you. And all of our patrons on Patreon, we love you very much. If you would like to join our Patreon and get all of the behind the scenes goodies, there will be a lot more coming soon for Next to Normal stuff. And as always, the podcast stuff that happens over there. We have free and paid tiers. And our goodies episode for the podcast is always on our free tier. So please join the community over there if you have not. It's gonna be good. You've been listening to Fandom of the Opera. The music that you heard at the beginning and end of the podcast is from Calling for Jane by Rachel Dean and Aaron Reifler. You can find us on social media, me at Divatron9000.
And me at Barrett Owned.
If you have questions, comments, or anything else you would like us to know, you can email us at fandomoftheoperapodcast@gmail.com. Please remember to rate, comment, review, and subscribe on any and all of your favorite podcast listening platforms. It really helps us get discovered by new friends and listeners, and we are excited to continue to bring more of you into our little Paradox family. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.